Welcome to the Idiot Podcast. I'm Laura Clery, as you know. Weirdly nervous about this one. I'm trying to get more focused, which is a joke because me and everybody else on the planet has ADHD. Not everybody has ADHD, but it kind of feels like everyone has ADHD. I don't know if like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts are making us have creating ADHD in people or just the way that society is. I don't know, but I feel like we're a very distracted culture. Anyway, what was I talking about? But I'm trying to keep these episodes focused. They're only 25 minutes. So I'm thinking, okay, what's my topic for today? And then I thought, okay, I'm a newly single mom. Let's talk about that. As a newly single mom, I wonder any other single moms out there, what is your current experience? Do you find that you have any sort of work-life momming balance? Do you feel chronically stressed? Are you more at peace now? I want to know your experiences, your current experiences today. How are you feeling today? How do I feel today? As a single mom, definitely emotional. I definitely cry more. I definitely feel chronically stressed. Like my back is just constantly tight and knotted. And I swear it's just from feeling the pressure of having to be the provider for my kids and balance being a mother and being a provider and a nurturer. And I think sleep deprivation doesn't help anything. I really didn't want to complain. I really didn't want this to be negative at all. I'm also very aware that I'm blessed in my life and, I can afford childcare, but it's also like, I fucking need childcare, to work, to feed them. Whatever. I want to talk about the pros and cons of being a single mom today. Nobody divorces or separates lightheartedly, especially when there's kids involved. Normally, if a couple is going to do that, to divorce or separate, there has normally been years of arguing, sometimes abuse, sometimes adultery, depression, dysfunction, for them to have ultimately landed on the decision to divorce. And then after that, a lot of times there's moving into a new apartment or house, new schools. The routines are completely shaken up. Shooken? What? Huh? Words? What? And that is scary and stressful. And I feel like I'm still in the thick of it all. Like, I don't feel like, okay, this is my new normal. It doesn't feel like that yet. I still feel confused. I still feel very riddled with guilt and shame that I couldn't make it work. And my kids are getting older, and one of them asked their dad why he doesn't live with us. And he said, I don't know, ask your mom. And I didn't know how to handle that moment at all. I mean, she's 3, but it just made me realize I have a lot of work to do on myself, and there's a lot I need to learn. Because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. To be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I've been in survival mode the past nearly 2 years, just under 2 years. We've been separated and still going through this divorce. And it feels, like I said, there's just a chronic stress. There's just a tightness in the back that's just like, and you just can't ever fully relax. I know I go on about yoga because it's been like my savior through this time. But it just feels scary. It feels scary and confusing, very confusing. I've also realized that through adversity comes strength. I feel I'm more capable and more resilient than I ever thought that I was. I also feel more grateful for the small things, in my life today. There's also a lot more peace now, I would say. My ex and I seem to get along much better now that we're not romantically involved. We can be friendly the majority of the time. I do think that my situation is odd because it's public, very, and I initially was not into that, and then it was just all out there, and so I spoke on it, and now it is what it is. It's just out there, and I have to be really strong and disciplined to not read comments of people just tearing us apart. Because why? It just sends me into a spiral and depression, and I just can't show up the way I need to for my kids and for my work. I'm very lucky in many ways. I'm very lucky that my ex lives a mile down the road and shows up for them and wants to show up for them. And I'm well aware he's not perfect and made big mistakes. And so have I. That's another thing. I am probably a very difficult person to be married to, a big personality and slightly neurotic. So I am not perfect. Nobody is. It takes two. But the fact of the matter is, whether you love him or hate him, doesn't really matter. He shows up for his children, and we get along, especially in front of our children. And that's really important to me. Push the political views aside, whatever else, that doesn't matter. What matters to me is having peaceful interactions, especially in front of them. And I feel very lucky that he is willing and consistent with his children. I actually love that they live with me. This is working right now. I'm well aware that it might change in the future. And I'm open, but today, they're so young and they sleep in the same bed every night, which PS is currently my bed. They both, for whatever reason, are coming into my bed in the middle of the night. And as sweet as it is, and as natural as it feels, when one of them starts screaming and crying and having a nightmare, and then it wakes the other one up, and then they both are up and truly fighting over me, pulling me left, right, they both want to cuddle me at the same time. I'm becoming more and more sleep deprived. And I know this is just a phase, right? It used to be my now 5-year-old who had some sleep problems, and now he's sleeping better. Now it's my 3-year-old who's going through some stuff at night. And it's times like that where I really miss having a partner. I would say, yeah, times like that, I just go, man, because I know it's going to affect my ability to perform and work the next day, not having slept. And so I just, there's moments, and I thought it would be the moments like the big spider. And I've learned I can handle the big spider, still scream, but I can handle the big spider. I can carry the heavy water jug. I can call a handyman. I still can't fix a door handle, but I can call someone. I've realized that, like I said, I'm way more capable, independent, and resilient than I ever thought that I was. And that's pretty cool to know. Again, I'm also incredibly grateful that he is down the street and, there for me when I need. I think that, I still wrestle with guilt and shame on like breaking up the family, though I know that I didn't do it just because, but I just feel, guilty and sad at times. And then I feel confident in my decision and that we're doing well. And I guess it's just taking it day by day, just day by day. What do I have to get done today? And not thinking too much about what it's going to be like, because I just get so stressed when I do. Damn it. I thought this was supposed to be funny. I thought this was supposed to be a funny ass podcast. Man, sorry. Now I don't even want to release this. But so last night, my daughter I was up with these night terrors. I don't know what's going on, but I just, it makes me so sad because there's nothing I could say or do. She's just out of control. And then I just kind of got to be there and let her have those feelings. And when I say, can I give you a hug? No. And then hug me. And then I go in to give her a hug. Don't hug me. It's like that. So it's I can't win. So I just kind of got to let it happen and be there for her. But I don't know. Other than that, there is a lot to be grateful for. They're healthy and they have a dad who's still very involved. And I'm able to work and afford help while I work. And kind of nothing else matters. I need to get back into just seeing my friends when I can, or just calling them. I find I'm really bad at that. I have been calling my sponsor and going to women's meetings once or twice a week, and that's been really helpful. Just honestly sitting in a room and connecting with other women, not just sharing what's going on in my life, but also doing deep listening, just sitting there and listening to other people's stories, getting out of my head and listening to other people. That I find is extraordinarily powerful. And also I can then talk to other women who have experienced a similar thing, who have been through it before. That's invaluable. And I need to, get back into just calling my friends though. Sometimes I can isolate. And then, the second they go to bed, I just want to go straight into my bed. I just can't get in there fast enough. But yeah, so I would love to know what your experience is being a single parent, a single mom. What does your co-parenting experience look like? Another positive that I've realized in becoming a single mom is not just resilience and gratitude, but dude, I just completely forgot. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah. I have a closer bond with my kids. The way that my brain just went completely blank. And that is from not sleeping well. And having two kids just coughing in your face, Okay. I feel like I have such a stronger bond with the kids. There's just way more one-on-one time with them. And I just feel closer to them than I ever have in my life. I feel like I have my priorities straight now. It's like when you're in a relationship, when you're married, when I was married, it's not that I would play dumb, but I would depend on my husband for everything. It was cool. I didn't have to think about the fucking dishwasher or the toilet that my son keeps playing with and breaking, or the water jug, or the big spider, or honestly, bills and overseeing the finances. And there was so much I didn't have to think about. And then you separate and suddenly everything's on your plate. And in my case, I've got, whatever. I've got a lot of bills. The kids are living with me, and I'm working, and I've got a career to keep up with. And, a career that demands that I'm funny, because that's literally how I make my living, is by being funny. And when you are depressed and slightly traumatized and in survival mode, you don't feel so funny. Telling jokes isn't really where I want to go. I want to hide under the covers and cry and isolate. Again, this is not pity party. This is just my personal experience. So the past 2 years have been so up and down. Okay. So up and down. Police have been called. There have been a lot of ups and downs. And so I found it very hard to have any sort of drive, really. I just, and to be honest, the last thing I wanted to do was also be on camera. And I didn't want to. And, I look back at the podcasts I would do with guests over the past 2 years, and you can see that I'm just dissociating, that I'm just so phoned the fuck in. I'm fucking phoning it in because I don't want to be there, because I'm just in survival mode, and I don't want to be on camera, and I don't want to be on. And because I'm struggling with some mental health stuff, but I'm muscling through it because, you have to. I have to. Obviously. And this is anyone. It's you're going through something personal. You still have to show up for work. You still have to show up. You do it because you have to. And, man, it's a weird, my head is in a weird place because I'm insanely grateful. I'm well aware of how grateful and how blessed I am in my life. I have amazing friends and family and healthy kids and a roof over my head. And I know if I get too burned out, overwhelmed, don't want to make content anymore, I can sell my house and, live on a farm somewhere and just fucking adopt animals and start an animal sanctuary. That sounds fun. I can do that. I could convince Steven to live in that town so he could see his kids and we'll be fine. Like, this is not life or death, but I find that my experience right now in being a single mom is, this blend of gratitude and peace and confusion and guilt and shame, and also definite chronic stress because I feel, even though daddy's involved, I feel like mommy and daddy a lot of the time, right? Like in my home growing up, my dad it was very traditional. So like my dad went to work and he was a workaholic. I never saw him. He even worked on Christmas some of the time. Like he just constantly was working. And my mom was stay-at-home mom. She was just there all the time. And I feel like I'm playing both roles. And I don't know how natural that is. I know that I'm capable. I know that I'm strong and resilient and I can do it all. But are we fucking meant to do it all? Are we actually meant to do it all? So can I? Yeah. Will I? Fuck yes, I will. But is that natural? I mean, I read about and see about the village, we don't really have that. But then, you don't really have the village. And then when you're a single parent in the home, yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting to then have my brain in this place of like, gotta fix the leak. And then, it's just shit that I had the luxury of not really having to deal with. And then now I'm in this funny situation where, him and I are getting along more. And so we are, working together in certain ways. He's producing something I'm doing, which, again, I thought long and hard about that decision, and because we stopped working together entirely for 2 years, and now, we're doing something together, and that's interesting, and we'll see, and we're giving it a 3-month trial to see how it goes. Is this a good idea or the worst idea on the planet? More will be revealed. And then, he comes over to see the kids and he notices, this isn't working and that's not working. And when are you going to fix that? And I then was like riddled with guilt and shame because how did I let that slide and that slide? And like, I don't know. I get angry. He says, and people have said that I'm like angrier than I've ever been. Like I'm mad. I have rage, and I think it's probably just from being chronically stressed. Like I walk around scowling, like not all the time, but sometimes, especially on the weekends, like there's just moments of just pure overwhelm. It's like haven't slept and just feeling like there's a lot on my plate. But he just says he's noticed I've been just angrier. And it's like, I don't like that. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I want balance in my life. I want to just make sure my priorities are straight, that my cup is full, right? Because at some point I'm like, fuck me. Like, let me just make sure I'm the best mom possible. And then I'm, bringing in money to give them the best life possible and give them the love and attention and respect and encouragement that they need. And that's it. Nothing else matters. But then someone pointed out, well, yeah, but if you're not doing self-care, then, you're not actually going to be thriving as a mom and at work. So you need to prioritize that. Okay. So, all right. So self-care. And what does that look like for me? That looks like sobriety, staying sober, right? Not picking up a drink, not picking up a drug. That is first and foremost, need to maintain my sobriety. So for me, that looks like asking my higher power to keep me sober just for today, reaching out to someone, whether it be a newcomer or my sponsor, doing some step work. They say 10 minutes a day to save your life. What does that look like for me? Checking in with myself. Am I resentful? Am I in fear? If so, what is the cause? And after I label the cause, what is my part in that situation? And can I become willing to forgive this person, place, thing, or situation? Can I become willing to walk through this fear? Because if I am stuck in resentment and fear, those are my number one offenders. They're the first thing that's going to take me out back to the drink. So it's imperative that I become willing to forgive. This is me, my program, to forgive and walk through my fear. And courage is not having fear. It's having fear and walking through it anyway. Having fear and doing it anyway. So, that's my first priority. Again, there's meditation involved for me. I do a moving meditation through yoga that helps me. Everyone's different. Or I do my fucking walks. And I know you're sick of me talking about my walks, but I don't really care because I love my walks. I made the huge fucking mistake. No, I'm not even going to say it. Whatever. I read some comments of people talking shit about me, saying I was disconnected because I eat organic food and take walks. I'm sorry. Should I just eat fucking processed shit all day and not move my body ever? Would that make you happier? Like, what a weird thing to be mad about, dude. Okay. So self-care, keeping my cup full. Then my kids, being present and loving to them, and connected and making sure they feel heard and seen and loved and validated and also disciplined, too. I've had to really reach out to some therapists around my son to get advice on how to handle certain behaviors that were becoming dangerous. And that's been a major learning curve because I had the most gentle parent you could ever imagine. And I consider myself a gentle parent too, which I know is like controversial too. But that is not just like, oh, it's okay to push and hit. You just have big feelings. That's all. It's okay. I see you have big feelings. That's why you punch your sister in the face. That's okay. That's not gentle parenting. Okay. Gentle parenting is, look it up, but it's treating your kids. It's just not a fear-based method of parenting, but there's still consequences. There's still boundaries. There's still discipline. It's just not fear-based. So one thing I learned, for my son, if he was hitting or pushing was, okay, it's time. You need to take space. You need to calm your body. So let's go take a time out for a few minutes where you can calm your body because I see you're mad and it's not okay to hit. And if you hit, it's time to calm your body or take a time out, however you want to say it. And I would do that for a few minutes. And I swear to God, within a few weeks, those behaviors were gone. He had time to be alone and sit and reflect. And I swear to God, if he ever now hits his sister, he looks at me and he goes, time out, calm my body. And he goes to his room like he wants to almost. He understands And it's just like for him, the whole like gentle hands, I would just say gentle hands. We use gentle hands. It just didn't work. And it was getting worse and worse. And he's only getting bigger and bigger. And so I called therapists and got opinions. And I tried this one out. And, and then I go in after the few minutes in his room and I said, do we hit yes or no? He goes, no. I said, are you sorry? Yes or no? Yes. And then sometimes I go, are you sorry? Yes or no? And he goes, no. And then smiles. I'm like, Alfie, are you sorry? Yes or no? He goes, yes. And I said, go give Poppy a hug and, let her know you're sorry. And he'll go and he gives Poppy a hug and a kiss, and whatever. That's a rant. I don't know how I got onto that, but like, yeah, just being a good mom and also understanding that I'll never be a perfect mom. I think I've beat myself up more times than necessary for not being a perfect mom, for letting my daughter have a pacifier for too long, or, holding my kids until they fell asleep instead of letting them self-soothe, which now I'm realizing is super fucking natural. And for some reason in America, we're taught you have to self-soothe. Your newborn needs to be able to self-soothe. And it's like, really though? Like, look at any other mammal, any other animal on the planet. The baby bear is sleeping on mama bear. The baby seal is sleeping on mama seal. They're just, it's so natural to need your protector, your mother, your father, to help to soothe your anxiety and to help you to get to sleep or calm down or whatever the thing is. But anyway, I'm ranting. So yeah, self-care, being a good mom, and then doing meaningful work, and for some people, work is just a job, a way to pay the bills. And that's awesome. I was talking to this Gen Z person and their attitude around work is so different, I find, than your average millennial. We were trained that like work is life and, ambition is everything and you got to build better, bigger all the time, rise and grind. We actually went through a phase of saying rise and grind. What, bro? How about rise and meditate and calm and chill out and have a little coffee and just like look at the sun and go, wow, what a miracle. Look at the sun. And like rise and balance. Like, what about that? Like, I just want the girl boss shit is so played out. It's done by no fucking interest, dude. I want girl balance. I don't want girl boss. I want girl balance, but I think the Gen Z, at least some Gen Zs that I've spoke to, have like kind of maybe a healthier view around work. Like this one girl was like, yeah, I was like, what's your passion? Like, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to make your living? You got to love what you do. She's like, no, I just kind of like show up and I work so I can go live my life and spend as much time with my friends and family as possible and go do what I like to do after work. Like, I don't put so much importance on what I do. I kind of show up, I do a good job and I leave. Like, it's not who I am. It's not, what gives me self-esteem. It's just, yeah, I just go and show up and I do my job and I do a good job and I leave so I can live my life. And that's where I put my focus and my value is on living my life. And I thought that was really interesting because, yeah, I think like millennials are oftentimes like, I don't know, we were just sold this lie of like, you just have to be ambitious and keep growing and building. It's like, no, actually you kind of don't. But then I don't know, you spend a lot of time at work. So it's also important that you like your coworkers and that you like your environment, at least somewhat, because you're spending so much of your time there. So it's important in that regard. But it doesn't have to be so wrapped up to, who you are and your identity. But I think too, if you're lucky enough to do what you love for a living, like that is just a blessing. So yeah, I would say doing meaningful work is my third. Yeah. And dude, no, yeah, that. And then like connecting with friends and family. Maybe that should be up on the list. You know, being a great mom and having good connections with friends and family. I think that, you know, that's there. Like, and then, yeah, doing meaningful work. Not putting an insane amount more importance on it than needed. Just, you know, trying to make a difference in whatever way. Like in my life, it's, you know, how could I make people laugh and feel better? Whatever, dude. I'm boring myself right now. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of it. I want to know your experience. What's your experience if you're a single parent, single mom? What does it look like for you today? And if you have any advice, what would your best piece of advice be as someone who's gone through a separation or divorce and is raising children? I want to know. Let me know. Thanks for tuning in, and I love you guys very much. I'm going to go film some dumb sketch idea I have, and then back to the kids I go. But I hope you all have an amazing, lovely day, and that you find a little bit of time for yourself, whether it's a warm bath or a scalding hot bath, actually. Screw ice baths. Can we just take warm showers? Why are we taking ice baths? Can we just take a warm shower or a warm bath? Do we really need to fill it with ice? Why? So we can be more productive? I can't with this. Can I just have my ice in my water and drink it? Do I need to bathe in it? Is it really going to make a difference? Is it really going to do anything? Okay, that's it. That's all I have. Okay, bye. Oh, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube or, follow me on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this for weekly episodes. Okay, cool. I like to keep it short because I know you got a big, full life. So just chill the fuck out, okay? And just calm down. And I love you. And until next week. Okay, we're fine. Everything's okay, right? Everything's good? Good.